The Witch and the Cauldron by José León Machado. When she was preparing a soup with some cabbage eyes for dinner, the witch found that the cauldron was leaking. It wasn't much, no sir. A tiny hole, almost invisible. But it was enough to, drip by drip, pour the liquids and put out the fire. This had never happened to him. She went to consult the book of spells, acquired at the time when she had been taking her higher degree in witchcraft by correspondence, leafed through it from cover to cover, confirmed it in the index and found nothing on how to solve the case. What would I do? A witch without a cauldron was like a baker without an oven. How could she now brew the horrible potions? For the most mundane things she had a reserve of vials. But did one of those cases arise in which it was necessary to prepare a mixture on the spot? Like that of a villager's daughter who had swallowed a cloud and had to make a special vomitory out of thundercloth, rosemary, 3 cloves of garlic, a dried pumpkin seed, a bat's wing, and 5 cat nail clippings. If the girl vomited the cloud, so wouldn't I throw up? With the potency of the remedy, in addition to the cloud, she vomited a great hailstorm that pierced the roofs of the surrounding houses. That hole in the cauldron was very annoying. Not even everyday soup could cook. She lived on bread and water, what a remedy, until she found a way to solve the case. She mulled the matter over for days at a time and began to suspect that the merchant who had sold her the cauldron at the fair many years ago had tricked her with second-rate material. She, an inexperienced witch taking her first steps in the magical arts, could easily have given her a faulty cauldron. She then decided to go to the next fair and take the cauldron to the merchant. Looking in the kitchenware sales section, the witch found that the merchant was no longer the same. He was the other's grandson, and of course he couldn't remember his late grandfather's commercial antics. She was disappointed. She asked him, however, what she could do with the leaky cauldron. The merchant looked at it, took it out, weighed it with both hands and said, "This one is good, it's for you to put next to the door as a vase. With some sardinhera feet it would be very beautiful." The witch was irritated by the suggestion and, if it weren't for all the people there at the fair, buying and selling, she would turn him into an onager. She ended up saying, "The solution looks good, yes sir. But tell me here, if I put the cauldron as a vase, where do I cook next? In this new one I have here and with a very affordable price." The witch looked at the cauldron that the merchant pointed at her, standing out in a heap of many others, bright red, even asking to be taken away. The witch, who had her woman's spirits, was delighted. He took advantage of the occasion to lavish the greatest praise on the article, praising the hardness and thickness of the copper, the tracery of the belly, the shape of the wing, in a half-moon, the capacity and weight, as light as a good cauldron could be, easy to carry anywhere. "Well, I'll take it." The merchant rubbed his hands together happily. "But I warn you," added the witch, "if the same thing happens to him as to the other one, you can be sure that I will turn him into a frog." The merchant laughed at the nonsense as he wrapped the article. Years passed and the witch continued her work. Until one day she found a hole in the new and now old cauldron. She begged such a curse that the grandson of the second merchant who had sold it to her, at that hour, instead of eating broth at the table with his family, was in a pond catching flies. The end.